Welcome to Gylee and Friends, the podcast where you hang out with game devs and hear about our pixelated shenanigans. I'm your host, Chris Bergman. I am the CEO and founder of Gylee Games. Gylee's currently in production on Raa-boom, a 4-player co-op beat 'em up about ninja cheerleaders from outer space. Please go wishlist it on Steam. As always, I have our senior producer at Gylee and my co-host, Kim Edwards. Kim, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a long day.
It's been a long day. Yes.
It's been a good day, though.
Yeah, productive.
My first day back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, after a long weekend.
Yeah.
With my kiddos. You did great while I was gone.
What?
I guess.
I don't know what that... I don't like the way you said that.
There weren't any fires that I heard about, but maybe...
I mean,
Ryan's
we did have a
them.
tornado.
We did have a tornado.
There's always a lot that we don't tell you.
I mean, I do know that. That beautiful, wonderful voice is our guest today. Are you excited to meet him, Kim?
Yeah, meet him for the first time.
Meet him for the very first time. It is Ryan Rosenow. Ryan discovered his love of art at a young age while neglecting his social life to obsess over art books from his favorite movies and video games. He studied fine art at the University of Cincinnati's School of Design, Architecture, Art, and Planning, which is not... I had no idea what DAP stood for, by the way. Anyway, we'll get back to that. Which has then led to a subsequent career in comic, video, and video game art, paved the way to eventually art direct at Gylee Games. Welcome our wonderful art director, Ryan Rosenow. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. Pretty good week so far.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's made it good so far?
I feel like I'm catching up on a lot of things that have been stressing me out the past couple weeks.
Such as?
How in the weeds do you want to get? It's all very...
Professional?
Very professional stuff.
Yeah, very professional stuff.
Cutscenes.
You're a very professional person. Cutscenes are looking good.
Thank you. Yeah,
they're looking good. They're fun.
They've been feeling much better the past 2 weeks. I was freaked out 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now, like, this stuff that's come in.
Seems like the team's cooking.
Yeah.
Cutscene teams
and
doing
seeing
well.
those rough edits that have come through.
Yeah. I think that's been huge.
I feel like little
timing's good.
Little short films.
Yeah, Emiliano's scratch voiceover work is incredible.
Amazing. 10
That
out
was
of 10.
the icing on the cake.
Yeah, for sure. Well, welcome to the podcast, buddy.
Thank you.
You've never been here before.
Never.
We've definitely not recorded an episode that we threw away.
I don't even know where I am right now.
A trash guest. No, I'm kidding.
I think that's what I said to him.
Did you really?
No, I didn't mean to.
Wow.
I was like, Glenn came up and it was just Ryan and myself talking, and I was like, Glenn, you've been our best so far. And Ryan was sitting right there.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So you got to up Glenn now.
Yeah, you have to.
I do. That is the subtext of everything you say to me, though. There's like a little... You got a lot of underhanded subtext.
In my defense, I forgot you were there.
She likes to bully people and knock people down. That's kind of her hobbies.
But in a way that leaves her an opening to play dumb about it later.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I didn't say anything.
What are you talking about? Whoopsie. That's the
so
Kim
nice.
approach. Yeah.
All right.
So Ryan, we wanted to have you on and have you talk about your role as an art director.
Yeah.
Before we get into that, do you want to give us a little synopsis of your career and lifetime and anything you want to talk about in particular?
Yeah, I mean, I think the little bio that you said earlier kind of covers the main milestones of it. Like, I was a huge nerd for Tolkien, and I mean, that was kind of my first exposure into world building as a kid. One of the first things I can remember as probably a 5-year-old was listening to my dad read Tolkien on a camping trip in a tent when I was a kid, and just like picturing the world where that took place. And I think it was around the time I decided this is like the career that I wanted. I was like, oh, that world that I'm like assembling in my mind would be really cool to like draw and, you know, give some kind of like visual expression to. And so I just wanted from that, you know, and when you're that little, you don't know what translation there is from that to an actual career.
Yeah,
you just like want to do it.
Yeah.
And
I feel like you and I have vibed on world building quite often.
Absolutely.
Well, shit, we just had a real good solid like 10-hour day doing some world building earlier.
Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah.
And a very different world than we've worked on before.
I know.
Like breaking some new ground there.
It's exciting.
So yeah, that was kind of like my first kind of like dipping my toe into it, just picturing stuff that I heard in like narratives from books or, you know, looking at movies that I enjoyed and kind of trying to figure out like what I would do with that. And so that led me to go to art school, and then art school sent me down an unexpected kind of detour, which was, okay, you leave that world, and then you can't make a living doing anything but ads. So I worked,
especially, well, at least here.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially here, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. In general, like even a lot of the people that worked on like some of the main movie franchises that I love and stuff, like they would have never gotten where they got if they hadn't taken a few years to like design signs for companies or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's just kind of like the introductory net that's cast by the professional world for people with like art chops.
So I've heard DAP's actually, like, one, it's a really difficult school to get into, and then two, like, getting through it is super challenging. Was that your experience?
Yeah, the getting into it was a really great feeling because I had actually just dropped out of another art school prior to that. Like I put a month in at another art school. Didn't really like what I felt the program was setting me up to do.
Mm-hmm.
It was a lot of kind of like thinking like an artist stuff without teaching the actual trade, you know, like
Isn't that much more like a fine art approach
yeah.
typically?
Yeah.
'Cause I feel like Nick said that, who went to Micah, has said that that's what that school was very think like an artist.
Yeah, in general, there's a big divide between like the fine art and the sort of trade school approach
craftsman
to art.
almost, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, don't worry about what you think. Just learn how to make the stuff look the way people, you know. And I like things from both because the thinking like an artist aspect is really good for coming up with your own prompts for what you do.
Mm-hmm.
But unless they give you the trade school mechanics to actually make it happen, you can't do anything with that idea.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just going at it from like a trade school approach, you're not necessarily going to be like giving yourself the prompts that you want to. It's going to be more just sort of like, oh, what might get me a job at like Nickelodeon or Disney, or like what's kind of trendy right now in the world of art. But if you're just doing the fine art, it's like, okay, cool. I can picture things that are interesting, but like, what do I do with that?
Right.
You know?
The ability to execute against that idea is a whole other skill set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So the program that I was in initially was much more fine art, and the program that I transferred into was much more trade school. And I think that having the benefit of both was useful, like kind of tempering each other, like against the weaknesses that they both had. So that was my educational background, and I didn't love the process of school. Like I was definitely eager to get out, like, and do something of my own, because there's something that feels really arbitrary about like you're always just doing the thing that is going to get you like a good or a bad grade, and you know, like, okay, well, what am I actually working towards? Like I want to actually build something interesting. But I do appreciate the sort of equipment that it created. For
The tool set, as it were.
Exactly.
Right on. Okay, so you graduate from DAP, and then what happens?
Then the first job that I got was an advertising company here in town. I hated everything I made for them. It was the
Which seems like the typical approach, as you were saying.
Yeah. Well, it's one of two typical approaches. You either graduate and just sell out and do advertising like I did, or you stick to your guns and you end up in the service industry. For
the next 10 years.
Doing graffiti and tattoos where you can, which totally valid. Like most of my
Or
classmates,
both.
most of my classmates like did that afterwards, and some of them found like careers that they love. But I know myself, and I was afraid if I take the first kind of like career industry job that comes along, I'm going to get stuck there for the rest of my life. So I need to try to keep drawing, So I took a job that I did not enjoy, and I made a lot of videos for a lot of bland corporate fluorescent lit cubicle
But you were
farm
drawing
companies.
every day through that process, right?
Yeah.
Roughly?
Yeah, and it was great for building up like artistic muscle, because it was like the style that you would work in would vary wildly from day to day. Like one day it's like kind of simple silhouettes, like vector-y style characters for some corporate training video. And then a day after that, it would be like really textural, kind of like painterly stuff for some like an educational forum or something, like just different stuff every day, like literally like a new style. You clock in at 9 a.m. and you're doing something new you weren't doing the day before.
That's interesting. I don't think I made that connection because, like, I think I'm jumping around, but like one of your strengths as an art director is like to get people on style. And it sounds like you definitely learned a lot of how to do that during that time because you jumped around in so many different styles.
That was, by the time I had been there for a couple of years, that was actually my job title was style team director.
Right on.
My job was keeping people on style.
Yeah.
Like we would have a new video coming out like multiple times a week, and we'd have up to 10 artists working on videos, and I would just like touch base with the different teams and make sure that everybody was like synced up on style from that. So yeah, it was not a lot of fun, and not a lot of the stuff that I did in there will ever make it into my portfolio, but I think it was very useful for learning how to like sync things up stylistically.
I think still you don't like forcing people to get on style. It's such a hard thing.
It is. Yeah, it feels shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To be like, your art's not good enough. That's all Ryan does.
We all say actually in front of it.
Oh, actually.
A lot of actuallys.
A lot of actuallys.
I think that's the arcade boss voice, by the way.
Oh, really? Good job.
So what in and then okay, so you're at this ad agency. You really learn how to adhere to style guides and kind of gain some strengths and versatility across different styles. And then what happens?
Well, I got to 5 years there, and I just couldn't stomach it anymore. Like the clients that they were bringing on in a lot of cases were super divergent from like what I could ideologically bring myself to work for.
Sure.
The people who owned the company had some very specific ideas about how the world should work, and they were donating a lot of work to people that aligned with that. Yeah. And in many cases that didn't align with what I believed.
Sure.
And so at a certain point I was just like, I gotta leave. So I quit, and I struck out on my own, and I was doing freelance for another 4 or 5 years, just picking up work where I could.
Were you doing a lot of work with Hambone at that time? Was it Hambone? Was he even at Hambone? I don't even know.
No, I don't think that existed.
No, yeah.
Okay.
When I left, yes.
Yeah.
So Justin left about 3 years before I did.
Okay.
And then when I left, that was already in place. So that kind of picked up some of the slack there. But then I found work in places I never would have expected, like companies that I didn't even know they hired freelance artists.
Any fun ones? Any surprises?
A couple of Shell.
Okay.
That did not expect to ever do
the most
work
terrifying gas station in OTR.
Yep. Yeah, some religious organizations.
Okay.
It's
good money, man.
That is the mother lode of freelance artwork. Like, it doesn't matter the religion.
In any genre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tax exempt.
Yep.
They always need visual presentations to help like train their
performance,
their children to believe what they're teaching. And so there's an endless fountain of work for religious organizations in the art freelance world. So a lot of that, and a couple of didn't really pan out comic projects that I worked on for people, like Image.
Yeah.
Image was working on some stuff that never printed, and I got brought on.
A bummer.
I know, because you'll put in like 90% of the work.
Yeah.
And then because it never you're NDA, so like when it doesn't launch, it's like I made a full comic.
Yeah.
And I will never.
Can you send me? Can I see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, are you NDA'd forever? Though?
Yeah.
Don't those expire?
I not that I know of.
Oh.
Not that kind of work.
Oh, I
especially if you're freelance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like some failed stuff, but again, like with the ad job, it was all valuable.
Yeah.
I feel like I brought a lot of good takeaways from all of them.
So you're doing that for a few years.
Uh-huh.
Then what happens?
Then I met you.
Hey.
Yeah, my main client when I met you was one of the religious organizations that I was talking about.
Right on.
And man, they were working me around the clock. I was so frazzled. Like they were having me work like close to a 70-hour week every week.
Jesus.
What?
And the money was pretty good, but
Yeah.
like I could not wait to find something else to get me out of there.
Yeah.
And then I met you through a mutual friend, and
And you initially came on just as a production artist, right? Or something.
yeah,
It wasn't.
I thought I was gonna. I literally thought I was gonna work with you for 2 weeks
Yeah.
because it sounded like you were working for a couple of. You wanted like some like pencil concepts to show for like promo art or whatever, and and I had a lot of contracts like that. It's just like, yeah, I just need like a few things, then off you go. And so I delivered a few pencil things, and then it became clear like you were building something much bigger than I realized like initially, because so many people, especially around here, that I had worked with, were like they talked a big game, but then when you get into it, it's like they're gonna move on in a month.
Yeah.
Like they're not actually like in this for the long haul.
Yeah. I'm pretty big on not fucking around.
Yeah,
That's sort of a.
that became clear
Yeah.
pretty quickly. So the next thing that I heard from you after I delivered my initial batch was like, hey, the volume of art we have is bigger than the number of people we have. So like I need recommendations for other like friends or people you've worked with in the past. So I was like, okay, I'll pass along all these names. So I shared some friends that I'd worked with, probably like 3 to 5 friends that I'd collaborated with on comic or ad projects or whatever in the past. And they delivered stuff that didn't quite hit the mark you were looking for.
Sure.
So then I kind of communicated with them in one of the public channels.
And I had no idea you had this skill set at all when we started working together.
It was
None.
It was very fun to kind of like arrive at that together.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So I was just like, hey guys, I think like this is really close, but it doesn't quite hit what he's looking for. Like, it doesn't quite match the world and this and that, and give him some feedback and did some drawovers and stuff. And then it was, I think, within the first month or two of doing that.
I mean, I remember like reading that feedback as somebody that's like, I have a hard time giving creative feedback, and have a really hard time communicating it well, where it can be where it can be received well, and then 2, where it's like emotionally, and then 2, where it's like, okay, I get the feedback was so clear, it was so concise, it was so uniform. I was like, holy fuck. This dude knows how to get people on the same page, which is really difficult to do in art in general, I think. And was just absolutely blown away by it. And it was like, oh, this guy needs to be our art director.
When we met back up, when you were kind of giving me that feedback and you offered me the position.
And I think I was still living in Jersey at the time, right? Like I wasn't even back here yet.
This was all still like, it felt so unstable because you weren't even a resident of the city.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this guy who lives in Jersey is like going to offer me a job. Like, is this going to work out? Like, I went into it very unsure what I was getting myself into, but you offered me a job at Lackman.
Oh yeah.
And I remember,
God, that place is just, it keeps on giving.
Right, yeah, honestly.
Raa-boom, the project name for Raa-boom was Project Lackman.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So
that's
appropriate.
That's where I met you initially for the kind of short-term work I thought I was doing. And that's where we met again when you offered me the job.
Perfect.
And, I was like, I don't know if this is going to work, but I feel like everybody that I've interacted with in this project so far is really cool and somebody that I want to work with for a long time. And I like the IP, and I think it's going to be worth taking a risk on. So I was all in, and here
4
we are.
years ago?
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
Dude,
I
going
think
on
you
5.
offered me a job at Lackman.
crazy.
Yeah, it's 5. At Lackman.
I didn't offer you the job.
Okay, but I was with
Denver
the
and Ryan
3 of
offered
you guys.
the
Yeah,
job.
so
yeah.
Denver
I didn't want you working at Gylee.
is our co-founder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, Lackman is just. Do you want to explain the bar itself and the importance?
So we, for all of our video games, we very similar, and this comes from Double Fine's documentary. I totally stole this from Tim Schafer, but I love the concept. All of our video games have project names based after bars in OTR that we go to. So the first one, Raa-boom, was Project Lackman. Lackman was where I spent a lot of my time while running Chore Monster, and closed a lot of capital there, and love it. Does that answer the question? Is that what you wanted?
Yeah, I think so. I just want to give a little context to what Lackman is and
Yeah.
to
And so now we
that's not aware.
have what do we have? So we have Project
Somerset.
Somerset, Project Leo.
Oh, I didn't
Is
know that.
Uncle Leo's is the one that he and I did all the world
Oh,
building
that's
on.
what you're calling it.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you were calling it Alice.
Alice was something else.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember. Oh, I remember what Alice's was. So I'll tell you later.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway, I derailed you, Ryan. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So back to your interview.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's been your journey thus far.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive journey. So as an art director, what inspired the overall visual style of Raa-boom?
It's definitely a combination of a couple of key factors.
Yeah.
Like there's I think kind of like the entry level, like most obvious aesthetic that was a big influence was the Saturday morning cartoon of like the 90s,
Oh,
which
yeah.
I remember like you and I talked about that at the very beginning. You're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I want this to feel like nostalgic, like 90s Saturday morning cartoon. And you're a huge fan of the old X-Men cartoon.
Yeah.
And
Which is now back, which is crazy.
Hell
'Cause,
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
we weren't like, none of this was happening
I know.
when we started working on this. Yeah.
It's so funny. The stuff that's happened since we've started is so like reaffirming that we're on the right
Oh, for sure.
wavelength.
Yeah.
Like everybody's ready for this kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But there were a couple of very disparate influences even within that umbrella. Like you were pretty adamant about like sort of like jelly pen, like scrapbooky, like middle school girl aesthetic for the cheerleader team,
Yeah.
but then also a little bit of this more diesely, like muscly, gun smoky kind of like Rob Liefeld energy a little bit. And I remember on one of our first calls with the contractor, I described it as the Lisa Frank to Rob Liefeld continuum, and we were like sitting in the middle of that.
Yeah.
So that I think that kind of sums it up. Like it's a lot of different 90s influences. Like everything that we're borrowing from was present in the 90s, but it's a lot of different parts of the entertainment spectrum that were around at that time.
Totally. How do you balance maintaining a cohesive art style while accommodating different environments and levels, do you think? Like, how have we created consistency over the game?
That's been really interesting to feel out as we go, because like some of them lend themselves to the game's premise a lot more easily than others.
Yeah.
The space station, very Saturday morning cartoon.
Yeah.
Um,
Careful, no spoilers.
some of the more robot-y technological environments, they work really well. I think the ones that get closer to the real world, and I know you know which levels I'm talking about when I say that, those were the tricky ones.
Yeah.
Because it's like, well, now we're borrowing from stuff that like it wasn't really depicted as much in the source material that we're drawing from. Like there weren't too many episodes of like Saturday morning cartoons that took place in places like this.
Right.
But we have actual like real world memories of being in those spaces from the
Right.
same time period. So getting them translated from like, it's the same nostalgia, but it's a very different aesthetic. Like we're
Yeah.
going from like actual physical memories, putting them in like a Saturday morning cartoon space. Those are the ones that have taken the most like reiteration and polish. But I think that's where the iterative process helps out. Like you get a batch of sketches and you can kind of spot where it's like, that feels a little too divergent. Like let's maybe make this a little less realistic. Like I know you drew it that way because that's how you remember it, but let's make it like a little more fantasy than that so that it fits, with the more fantastical aesthetic of the game overall.
Yeah. Yeah. Like when you hire a new environmental artist, say, what's sort of some of the things that you would tell them to kind of get them in the space of the art direction for Raa-boom?
So typically onboarding for that kind of thing is, if there's anything in their portfolio that even comes close to the aesthetic of the world,
Yeah.
I like to start by pointing them to their own work,
Oh, yeah.
because that
What a move.
Yeah, that's
What a move.
smart. I
Yeah.
did not know you did this.
that's something they know. Obviously, they've done it. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, take this, and then like whatever changes need to happen from that piece, it'll just be like move it like 80% more towards, and then whatever artist I'm pointing them towards, like a little bit more like Moby Frankie or somebody else, like, and then we'll just kind of like in that initial call iterate together like back and forth to get that one piece shifted into something that represents the vision of the game, and then that gives them something they can kind of extrapolate to any work they deliver from that point forward.
Have you ever had any like new hires that have like, or interviews, maybe they didn't, make it all the way in or whatever, that like, especially prior to us announcing, maybe like, so going a bit of a
Yeah.
ways back, that like you gave that direction or that sort of approach, and they like didn't like they were like disappointed that like what's been the reaction when you've told people about that stuff?
Yeah, I think that because
I'm trying to keep it positive.
Yeah.
We're trying to hire from a pool of people who like game art.
Yeah.
You will occasionally run into people who want to do a little bit more of like the bro gamer, like kind of like violent, like even if there's something in their portfolio that looks a little bit more appropriate to what we're doing, that might not be representative of the work they want to do.
Yeah.
And so, there have been, I can think of one person off the top of my mind, only one out of the ones that we've talked to, where it's been like, oh, this really isn't like the kind of thing that I want to have in my portfolio. And that became clear pretty quickly.
No kidding?
Yeah.
Oh, you got to tell me later who that was.
No, I was thinking, and then you said quickly, so now I don't think I know who it is. Gosh.
Oh, man, I can't wait
I
to hear
know.
this.
Can we end this podcast?
Well, yeah, let's just stop right now and move on. That's super fascinating, man. So like, how do you collaborate with other members of the dev team? Like art and engineering in particular, like such vastly different disciplines, but
What do you-
require connection.
They speak the same language.
What? Require so much interconnectivity, I feel like, or collaboration. Like, how do you collaborate with them to ensure that the art direction aligns with like the overall vision of the game?
The way I see it, the engineering and the art both serve the game design. So I look to the game design for cues, and I can, everybody on our engineering team, I can 100% trust that they're also doing the same thing. So it's really about like, if anything is becoming too distracting from the core gameplay mechanic that makes this encounter fun, we're going to scale that back. Or if anything is not drawing, like, it's not enough to create like an environment or a world that looks visually good, because if it's not serving the greater good of the actual like gameplay mechanics and the game design, then that doesn't help at all. So
Gameplay is king.
Gameplay always is. We are always operating within the parameters defined by that. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you just do that through communication, through...
Yeah, thankfully everybody on the team is really, really good at communicating. And I think that's one of the things that's allowed the people who are here to remain here. Like there's a high necessity for frequent, clear communication.
Yeah.
We all stay in very close touch.
Everyone on our team's
Oh, good.
pretty nice.
We have soft skills, guys.
We all have soft
Yeah.
skills. Vital. How do you approach the iterative design process for refining art assets throughout development?
That's been really interesting because we had to hit the ground running. Like our timeline, we were already at about the end of the runway that we could have had for like pre-production.
Oh yeah.
There was a little bit of time for pre-production. Normally I would like to invest like 4 more months into that than what we had time for with
Sure.
the timeline we had. So it's been really dependent on people's ability to pick up on sort of like verbal cues and like rough sketches of like, this is kind of what the shape language of the main bad guy's city looks like and stuff like that. And so for every piece of production art where we would, in a more flexible timeline where you would normally have like a few pieces of concept art and then the production art, I just have people submit their production art when it's like the roughest version and have that serve as kind of like the design on page, like concept.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And then if there's anything that's like off sync there, then we start over. But like nobody puts more than like an hour or 2 hours into their initial sketch. And that's basically the concept that will then immediately translate into the production art.
I think
So
I feel like it's gotten easier over time too, because like we've built visual design language as we've
the
progressed.
past like 2 to 3 milestones, I've been breathing a lot easier because people know now. Like we've developed enough levels that people get like which part of the world are they in. Like,
Yeah.
now I know exactly how that. And
All
there
the
are
context.
even the enemies. I was actually talking to one of our contractors a week ago about this, and we've identified like there are generations of enemies where like certain ones look like they were first gen, like almost prototypes.
Yeah.
And then there are some that are a little bit more advanced and some that are like more advanced than that. And like when we're starting a character design, all we have to say is like, this is like Gen 4.
Right.
And they're like, that gives them all the shape language they need to be like, oh, now the contours are going to be rounder. Things are going to be shinier. There's going to be more like backlit stuff.
Yeah.
Or if it's like, oh, it's Gen 1, it's more angular.
Yeah.
It's going to be more like actual like incandescent light bulbs and stuff like that. It's very helpful to have that backlog of work.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because I don't think we explain it much in the actual narrative of the game, but just through visual language of you can see the progression of Zoe, the AI, like learning what it wanted to build over time.
Yeah.
You know, and that stuff's super intentional from an art standpoint, but there's no other way that it's talked about. It's just like you as a player have to kind of discover that from a visual language.
And it's been really fun to see how like the chronology of us making those characters has not synced up with the chronology of the lore of when they were made.
Right, like we did the most complicated first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And without spoiling anything, the last enemy that we just worked on, well, second to last, was all the way back to like the crustiest like Gen 1 version shape language.
The last enemy. What was the last enemy we were?
I can't say it.
Sits in a chair.
Yeah.
Oh, word. Yeah.
So like it's very similar to like our little like mechanic
Yeah.
character.
Yeah. He's old.
Yeah.
He's been around, you know, the whole time.
I think you know the person that did the voice for that.
I do. He may be sitting here.
So that was a fun thing to be able to bake into the kickoff for that character. Like I pointed to the old character and I was like, I want this guy to have come from the exact same factory floor as this previous one, but like with a different personality. And she immediately got what we were talking about and killed it.
So we've now sort of hit this state where we've had the game out at shows a lot. We've had people play it. It's an art heavy game.
Yeah.
Right. Has there been any surprises or like what in regards to feedback and reaction, what happened that you expected? And then what has been a surprise that's happened from the feedback in regards specifically to like art, animation, all the stuff that you're touching?
I think there's a lot more surprise than expected. Like in the expected column, there's not much because I have...
Because you have low self-esteem.
I have severe, and I know we've connected on this in the past, severe imposter complex. Like,
same.
Every time anybody comes up and has anything positive to say, it is a surprise.
Yeah.
And it's really been mostly that, which has been awesome.
Yeah.
Like, so a lot more surprise. My favorite thing has been the like generational bridging that it's done. There have been so many times at like showing it at conventions that like a parent with their child will come up and they'll both love it, and they'll both love it for reasons that are relevant to their generation. You know, it'll be like the parent will recognize the nostalgia
of a beat 'em up,
a beat 'em up, and then like the source material of like Saturday morning cartoons, and like this reminds me of watching like the '87 Ninja Turtles cartoon or whatever, and then their kid will appreciate the little updates that we've done to the mechanics and the aesthetic and stuff, and they can really connect over it. Like it was a convention that in Minneapolis.
I didn't go to that one, right? What was it? Which one was it? What was the name of it?
I'm trying to remember the 2D-Con.
2D-Con, right.
Yeah, it was that last one. There was a father and his daughter, and the daughter was probably, I'm going to guess, 8. The two of them came back every day of the convention, and it was clear that she was dragging him to do it. Like, just kept, like, bringing him back, like, by his hand, and, like, they wanted to play through the demo every day.
Yeah.
And it's like, the world that has been built in this game, seeing people appreciate it on that level is still surprising. Like after demoing it for a couple of years at this point, like I'm surprised and I'm very happy with it.
It makes me happy.
Makes me happy. Can I say something? I was just on a call with our publisher, Midwest Games, and they were explaining the same thing that you just said at PAX, and they're like, we knew it was a thing, but like watching these families play together and watching them come back and just every person having the same amount of fun but for different reasons, they're like, we're not sure how to market this yet, but we love this.
It's almost like it was intentional. Weird
Crazy.
Well, dude, we're happy you're here. We're happy that you're at Gylee. I think we're going to take a break from the interview
Sounds good.
and give Kim a chance to talk
I'm
in a
what?
little bit. When we come back, we have gaming news and Kim's pick. So we're going to take a real quick break. Here's the Raa-boom trailer. Check it out. Wishlisted on Steam. We'll be right back.
And then it went like 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, if it's glass, yeah, you're gonna shatter it. Battle your battles, you gotta tell it how to the cure. You can breathe underwater. Won't you teach me how to do it? I wanna take a swim, bring me with you one time. We can fly if you take me under your wing. But let me do my thing. And then it went like hey, hey, hey. 5, 6, 7, 8. If it's trash, yeah, you're gonna take it out. Handle it rapidly, got the magic, you got it for sure. Make it nice, yeah, I'll bring the good vibes. Gotta win if you let me into the race. But I'ma do it my way. And then it went like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Welcome back to Gylee and Friends. Hope you enjoyed that trailer. We all went and peed, which is the most important reason for taking that break. So we are going to get into some gaming news. Who's excited?
I'm excited.
Are you?
Not
You're
really.
excited about Kim's pick. You're never excited about gaming news. But I think we have some good news. We're going to start with...
That's a change.
I know. Yeah, we're going to start with Bitcraft Ventures. Bitcraft just unveiled their new $275 million fund. This is definitely a pick for me because I like paying attention to venture capital and games in particular.
This is good for everyone
So
in games.
Bitcraft Ventures has launched a new fund that will invest at $275 million in gaming and interactive media firms. Fund 3 will focus on global early stage investments for studios, platforms, and technology. They're quoted as saying, Bitcraft Ventures, we are committed to and optimistic about the future of the games industry as we were from the inception of Bitcraft in 2016, said Bitcraft Ventures Jens Hilgers. Fucking great name, man.
Yeah.
We've seen continued growth across all major game platforms and metrics, including user engagement, activity levels, and monetization. Newly formed game studios have seen substantial breakout successes over the last years, and the advent of AI in game production further benefits new upstarts in the space. But that's quite a positive outlook compared to what we've heard in the past. Additionally, once the Bitcraft Ventures Fund 3 closes, the VC's total assets under management will reach $1 billion, which is super cool.
That's amazing.
Some of the studios that they've invested in the past, so Discord, I don't know if you guys have heard of them.
I think I have.
Epic,
I think I've heard of them too.
that's crazy. Frost Giant, which is a bunch of ex-Blizzard people. Midnight Society, which is the Dr. Disrespect game studio that has some NFT stuff attached to it. Lightforge Games, which is like a bunch of ex-MMO guys. Polygon.com, you've heard of them?
Definitely.
Yeah. And then Spatial, the spatial audio technology. I don't know if you've heard of that, Drew.
No, you can talk.
No, I mean, I know Apple uses something called Spatial in their new headphones.
Ooh.
Oh.
So could be the same one.
Yeah, but and I think it's interesting that it's not just all game studios there. I do also like that it's not just like Web3 or AI investments. Like there's a lot of, it seems like in venture capital, like if you're not doing AI or Web3 stuff, you're not getting an investment, which is really sad because there's plenty of studios doing meaningful work that can be very profitable that aren't doing those things. Yeah, Kim, you actually came from VC world.
I did come from VC world, not VC specific for gaming, but VC just VC.
Yeah.
I think this is huge in general, just because of all the layoffs that we have, and so finding funds by other means is great. So I really like this. I don't. You found a happy article. Good job.
Happy article. I think what's interesting, and I don't know, did you, I've raised a venture fund.
I have not raised a
Were you
venture
not a
fund.
part? That was the question that I had.
Oh.
Were you a part of the fundraise for that fund?
No, I mean, I would work to make sure the rounds got closed and the tax
You had a lot of
credits.
capital calls, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
Isn't that how?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think my involvement and your involvement were a little different. Like mine was more of paper filling outs.
And I was like
I'll give you the money.
Substantially-
Yeah.
responsible for fundraising for
Yeah.
the venture fund.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. My point is it's hard to raise a fund at any given point, and for Bitcraft to raise $276? Is that right? 275. $250 million.
That's a good size fund.
In this market where capital is really expensive, people are holding their funds close to their chest, it feels like. And then gaming is sort of like, everyone's like, oh, what's going to happen, right?
Right.
For them to have done that in this market, I think is a light for gaming, man. Like
I agree.
I think it's huge, and shows the potential of where this industry's headed and the stuff that we should look towards. I know there's a lot of stuff that we can kind of look at and be like, look, the industry's going down, blah, blah, blah. When really in the macro reality or economic reality for me, I think a lot of it's just sort of adjusting post-COVID.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree
There's
with that.
A lot of mistakes made during COVID. And here's an example of like, there are aspects of the industry that are thriving and doing really well. So I celebrate that. I celebrate anybody raising a fund is difficult
it's
to
not
do.
easy.
And then to do it in gaming is
Yeah.
even better, which is crazy because it's the largest entertainment market in the world. Like I think every single accredited investor,
Oh yeah.
when you have enough money to make very risky, these are all high risk investments. Like, if you're a normal like salaried person, like this isn't, you shouldn't be participating.
Yeah, no.
But if somebody has capital, that dormant capital or capital that if they have the capacity and taste for high risk investment, I think every single one of those people should be investing in gaming in
Yeah.
some way, shape, or form.
I agree.
I don't know. Do you have any? I know it's not quite your wheelhouse,
hot
Ryan,
take.
but do you have any takes?
I don't want to give anybody advice on where to put their money.
In Gylee Games. That's the only.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, we're the only
Duh.
good investment.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
My takeaway from this article is that we're starting to stabilize. That's how I'm reading this.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was another article that I didn't put in here that talked about Embracer, whom, they spun off a bunch of studios, and had a really like negative outlook sort of at the end of last year and early this year. The CEO came out and said, hey, we're done spinning off studios. We're like good. Like, we righted our ship, and we're not acquiring new studios either. But we're happy with where we're at. And then I know the CEO of Saber, who spun off from Embracer. Embracer had bought them, and then Saber was able to spin off. Said, hey, we spun off from Embracer, but like they're, I would not count them out. They've got a bunch of good stuff coming. So like
That's cool.
more positive,
Yeah.
takes from the industry, which is exciting. And speaking of another article that
Oh, got excited.
I know.
Oh,
I picked
did
this
you just
because
for me?
because of you.
Okay, thanks.
Because it's one of the few video games you play. Have you finished this?
No, because Chloe, my daughter, borrowed the remote that I use, like the controller that I
what?
use. The
Okay.
controller that I
Did you hear
use
that?
for it.
Okay.
Because I play on Switch, and I wouldn't recommend that you play It Takes Two on Switch, but I do, and so I have
You
to use
spoiled the
a
headline.
special. Oh,
I haven't said the game yet.
sorry.
That's okay.
You do your thing. I'll be quiet.
Okay. That's the first time I've ever heard that from you. Yeah, It Takes Two. which is a video game, has announced that they've moved 16 million units. I had no idea that game did that well.
That is so
crazy.
fun. And it's an older game, too. I think it's been out for quite some time at this point.
A couple years, at least. So what it is you play as the clashing couple, Cody and May, two humans turned into dolls by a magic spell. Trapped in a fantastical world, they are reluctantly challenged with saving their fractured relationship by the suave love guru, Dr. Hakim.
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
He's like a love book. And I have to say, though, if you are in a struggling relationship and you play this, you're not going to do well. Like, don't.
So it's a co-op puzzle solving
Yes.
game, I guess is how you would
Yeah,
describe
you
it, right?
are reliant. You are reliant on each other to do the thing. Like if my partner doesn't do the task, then I can't do my task, and you have to do it at the same time, and you have to like manage to communicate really well to get through like each one of the levels. It is so fun. I'm not kidding. It is so fun.
What makes it fun?
I do like the puzzle aspects of games. It's very challenging in my opinion, to a point where sometimes we'll switch controllers and we'll be the other person, like because
You're bad at games?
that was hurtful.
That
I
was
thought
a
we were
question.
No,
Not a statement.
I don't think I play enough games, so maybe I'm just not tenured like you are at video games.
What a good word. Meaning I played video games since birth, essentially.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
You're a little bit more mature in the gaming world than I am.
I mean, mature is strong.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But it's really fun because it has a great progression system in the context of like it does get more and more challenging, and then you also like the puzzles are very unique in every level and what you do and how you do it. And it's seriously one of the funnest games I've ever played, ever.
Deserved 16 million units?
Yeah, and counting, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
It is amazing. Any person who's ever played this game has loved it that I know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Have you played It Takes Two?
I have not yet, but I'll have to check it out.
Um,
It shares a name with an Olsen Twins movie from the early '90s
does.
that my sister loved when I was a kid. So
Yeah.
I
There's-
vaguely remember
I
that.
There's
remember
reason
that
enough.
movie.
Yeah. Man, that Olsen money, baby.
yeah, they had some dollars.
Yeah. Although 16 million
still-
units is pretty high up there as well,
Yeah.
for sure. Well, congrats to Hazelight Studios, who made It Takes Two. It came out in 2021. The director, Joseph, maybe Ferres, is hilarious. So he's a guy that's been on multiple game awards, going on like wonderful rants about the video game industry. He made Brothers, A Way Out. There's been, so and they're all in that lane of sort of co-op puzzle games. And so I think he's really mastered. It seems like with this iteration of that game design style, he's mastered kind of what he's always sort of his approach to game design, which is always cool to see someone sort of iterate over time and then get to this place that they've always tried to get to. And then, making a game about relational dynamics like that's got to be... How's the narrative?
The narrative is amazing. They have an array of great cutscenes as well. Like their cutscenes are so well done. I'm not kidding.
Are the characters struggling in the relationship? Like, help me understand sort of the beginning context of the game.
So Cody and May are don't look at me like that, Ryan.
No spoilers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like
no.
Well, this
halfway
is just the
through.
beginning.
Are
so
you're halfway through right now?
Okay.
Okay.
So
Are
what
you
I
playing
was-
with Paige?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I pause to point out the fact that I looked at Kim in the most harmless, listening to her
She's
story way
defensive.
possible,
Okay.
and
it's
got
fine.
attacked for it.
I'm sorry, Ryan. That's my bad.
Wow, that was dismissive too, though.
It was.
Yeah.
Now I'm feeling I'm being
Even
shamed
worse.
for that.
There's what do you call it when you do like a free download, like a demo, free download demo? What is it? There's
demo?
Is that what it is? I think there's
A demo?
okay. So you can. So
The
I'm
thing
just
that we're releasing soon
yeah.
in a yet to be announced day.
Yeah, shush. But this
I want to tell you guys so
you
bad.
cannot say
I'm so
anything.
bad at
Shut your
secrets.
mouth. So That's gonna sound so creepy. So this is all I'm giving you is like the prequel. So it's the two parents are going to their daughter and telling her that they are getting a divorce, and she
Tough.
is so upset that she like locks herself in her room, she cries about it, and somehow it turns her parents into these dolls.
Okay.
And now they have to figure out how to work together and solve these puzzles to get back to their daughter and be human again.
Ooh, that's heavy.
Yeah, so they already don't agree with each other. They don't see eye to eye, and they have to go through all like they're basically going through their house and around the like outside the house, inside the house, through the whole house, just trying to like, and as they're doing it, they're learning more about their daughter, and they're realizing like, hey, like she's special, this relationship is special. Like it's a great story. The narrative is amazing.
Has it brought you and your partner closer together playing it, or like how has it affected your guys' relationship dynamics?
I think we know when we're frustrated and put the game down. I think that's a good example, because we both equally get frustrated in different ways. Like, it's not that he gets mad at me or I get mad at him. I get frustrated at myself, or he'll get frustrated in himself, and then we get disappointed in each other and like ourselves. We're not like, I'm not mad at him and he's not mad at me. Like, we're not arguing. I'm just like, I can't do this, and he'll be like, well, give me the remote. I'm like, no, I can do this.
Are you enjoying playing it together though? Is my
Yeah,
question.
yeah. It's taking us a good amount of time because we do have to have the headspace to play it. Like, you definitely
so?
have to have the headspace.
What's that headspace look like?
You have to just be willing to work with that person. I've played with my kids too, and they're the same way. They'll get frustrated. I'm like, you're fine. We have all the time in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they don't have that mindset where they're willing to try it over and over and over and over and over and over again till they get it,
Yeah.
then that's not the
Thanks,
time
Heine.
to play. That's
Yeah.
the time to play Mario Kart or something where you don't really have to
You
think.
kind of veg out.
Yeah.
Right on. How about you, Drew?
Yeah, I'm curious.
Has it brought you and your partner closer together?
I would say no. I didn't feel anything like that from it. I thought it was really fun.
Yeah.
But it's definitely like one of those games where you're all in. Like, it is very fast paced.
Yeah.
The story is pretty much completely told through the cutscenes, and then
Right
when
on.
you're playing the game, you are doing a lot. But that's interesting that they sold so many units, and I wonder if part of that is the power, because they won Game of the Year in 2017.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't come out till 2021.
Oh,
So
2020,
I feel
2021
like it's
maybe.
been out longer than what you're reading.
it's this is
Game
from
over.
Google.
Okay. I mean, I believe you, but it just feels like it was been out longer. It was launched not on
March 2021.
Switch. Like, initially when they
Yeah, and Switch November 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know it took them a while to navigate Switch.
I like to get my facts straight.
I appreciate that.
I mean, I'm the host of the podcast.
Yeah,
for
that's
God's
right.
sake.
You are.
No fake news.
But I know you're right. They did win because
2021.
Yeah,
it was
that's
Game of the Year.
how I found out. And
was
then,
Game of the Year.
Yeah, that it was. Yeah, that's how I found out about it. And I was like, oh. And then I waited for it to come on Switch because I'm not going to buy a bunch of consoles for a game. And I don't recommend playing it on Switch. And I've heard other people say that.
Are you still playing it on Switch? Or are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
just a little. Switch is its own.
We're not going to talk about Switch.
When it wasn't made for Switch. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I'm not dissing Switch. I love Switch. I have a Switch. I play it all the time. The game just wasn't made for it.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Sure.
But it's so fun. I mean, I'm not going to stop playing it.
Yeah. Congrats to Hazelight.
Yeah.
60 million units. I have one more gaming news.
Oh,
thing
this
to
is
talk
the
about.
best of all the articles.
Yeah. Do you want to do it?
No.
Okay. No.
No.
Ryan, I don't know if you've heard, but IGN, pretty big gaming news website,
Pretty big.
announced their 16 favorite games from PAX East 2024.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of those games is a little game called Raa-boom. How about that?
How about that?
I was blown away when this article came
Yeah,
out.
Me
It
too.
was
That was
so
awesome.
unexpected.
Here's what they had to say. I'm going to read the little blurb. I grew up playing games like Turtles in Time and X-Men in my local arcade, so Raa-boom caught my eye. As soon as I saw this is very self-serving. I'm so sorry. Caught my eye as soon as I saw the arcade cabinet at Midwest Games booth. But it's one thing for the game to catch my eye and another for it to demand my attention. Raa-boom follows a group of ninja cheerleaders from outer space as they fight for humanity on Earth. The premise might sound a little ridiculous. I disagree. But I quickly grew to like this charming and funny crew. Hell yeah. Raa-boom's artwork is stylish, colorful, and clean. This is the guy.
Yes, guy.
And it's got a great soundtrack to beat up. That's the guy back there.
Yep.
To beat up robots too. But the coolest thing about it is its gameplay. Every character feels different and comes equipped with a ranged attack and a powerful super move to turn the tables. What makes it unique, though, is the dynamic lane system, which makes it easy to focus on where you want to be on screen and the enemies you want to fight. Throw in upgradable tech trees to power up your character of choice and cool boss fights, and Raa-boom looks like a knockout. That's funny. I like Raa-boom so much that I dragged several friends back to Midwest booth to play it with me, and guess what? They all liked it too. That should tell you all you need to know.
Well read.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
How's that feel?
Feels good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's that validation that you don't believe
That I
exists.
never expect.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, this particular journalist, I don't think was prepped at all. Was not given anything.
Correct.
Right, and just popped in our booth.
Yeah.
And
That's so cool.
wow,
Yeah.
that's super neat.
It
And-
was genuinely unexpected.
Yeah,
Like, no joke. And I am floored.
yeah. It's very exciting and kind of scary.
No. What?
The expectations are so high. They're just getting higher and higher and higher.
Yeah, but they played the game. It's fine. It's fine. You did the thing.
We all did the thing.
Okay, we all did the thing. Just appreciate it.
Do you not
Very
have the
much.
thing where like a certain level of affirmation kind of like scares you a little bit?
I
Do you
can't
not- do
take
you
a
not get
compliment
that?
for shit.
What was the book we read? The Upper Limit or something like that. Upper Limit Problem.
Yeah, I think that's what it was called. Something like that.
So yes, I used to have that problem, but I realized that like what's the point? You know what I mean? Like just appreciate it. So and I didn't come to this naturally. Like I am a very like a self-help kind of book reader, but I think I'm pretty sure it's called The Upper Limit Problem. That book helped me understand why I self-sabotage and why I think the way I do, because inherently humans just do that to themselves. So I
Yeah.
kind of stopped doing it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Will Borger is the one that wrote that particular article. So I just wanted to say thanks, Will.
Yeah,
that means
thank
a
you,
lot.
Will.
And like, it's hard. It's really hard to describe the emotions and feelings that happen when someone says so many kind things about your game. I don't. You know, I think like, and hopefully this podcast is doing this a little bit, but like we're all real humans. We're all trying really, really hard. Definitely sacrificing a lot to do this, and to see somebody that can speak so highly of it is extremely meaningful to all of us.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to tear up. I can feel
Yeah.
it happening.
It's like burp instead.
That's a lot of like drawing a picture that you've looked at so long you can't even see it anymore
Yeah.
at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Or, you know, and I'm sure Denver has his own equivalent of what that is.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
God, I can't
You
even
know, there's-
imagine.
There's a version of that for everybody on the team.
Yeah.
And when you've done that enough times and you hear somebody actually appreciates what you've done, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It feels good, but it's also kind of scary.
Yeah.
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 I'm not going to cry.
Okay.
Okay.
Do you want me to do my pick then?
Yeah, please
you wanna
do.
Move over?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm really
Okay.
It's thank you, IGN. Thank you, Will.
Yes.
Thank
It's
you guys so
amazing.
much.
Thank
It means
you.
a lot.
Okay. Wow, Chris cries. Okay, when I get to pick something that has nothing to do with video games, because I don't know anything about video games, so just like putting that out there. So my article this week is titled "Sriracha Toothpaste, Ranch Smarties,
Wait,
and
Sriracha what?
Damn it, I forgot that was I said it just fine. And more April Fool's pranks. I couldn't say that.
Start over. Try again. Keep this. We're not cutting this.
Ah.
But try
Alright.
again.
Sriracha, toothpaste.
Wow.
Oh, thank you. Ranch Smarties and more April Fool's food pranks.
Okay.
Okay, so I listed. They did like a video of like the best ones. So like I just kind of wrote those out to kind of go over with everybody because they're great. Did anyone hear about the 7-Eleven sparkling hot dog water?
No.
Yeah, these are all fake. These are fake, but they did promotions and things like that. And actually, they made sparkling hot dog water. Like people drank it and they're like, it tastes
Oh.
like hot dog water.
Oh God.
Yeah,
That is
Yeah.
not okay.
No.
that's funny. No,
That is
Okay.
not funny.
Lego did a fake ad about giant Minion theme set, which was kind of cute.
Oh, poor Brian. He
Oh,
thought it was
yeah.
real, I bet.
Brian
that
got his
one.
hopes up.
That one felt the most real.
Yeah. Brian's our VFX guy.
Yeah.
And has a weird love for Minions.
Not a weird love, just a love. I
No,
love Minions.
He's very affectionate towards
Yeah.
his Minions.
I should ask him.
He's aware that it should be ironic, but he also it's not ironic.
It's genuine.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
He knows exactly where he is.
Okay.
Yeah. So Lego, make that for Brian, please.
Yeah, just make it. They had to have done something because it looked legit. That one looked legit. You should look it up. Okay. There was a language learning app, Duolingo, advertising. What?
Of course, Duolingo. Like we all know. Do you not know Duolingo?
I didn't, but I liked what they did
You
because
did
they
read it like you hadn't ever heard of it, but
Yeah.
you said
You know Duolingo,
You said
though, right?
Duolingo.
because
Dua
I was
Lipa?
yeah, that's
Dua-
why that's what I was about to get into. That's why I said it.
Oh,
that way.
did I spoil it?
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
So they advertised a 4-hour musical skating spectacular, including a life-size cutout of Dua Lipa.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yeah.
I thought that one was funny. No, I don't. I'm not familiar with them.
It's a language learning. I think they're based in Pittsburgh
Oh,
or
really?
somewhere
It's-
near there, but in the Midwest.
Is it a
which
good
great.
one?
It's very effective.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
You,
I probably should.
spend a couple
utilize it.
months with them. You'll be
Yeah.
speaking new languages.
Ooh.
Okay. Noted.
Do you use it? Have you used it?
Yeah, I've been using it to keep up with languages I took in college.
Right on.
It's like supplemental.
Russian.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Russian, Spanish.
We have not in our interview. We did not go into how cool you. are.
Yeah, you are really cool.
Should we take a second? Or
Yeah.
we're still
No,
in Kim's
this is
pick.
Ryan being this. The podcast is about Ryan. We should talk about Ryan being cool.
Ryan's literally the coolest person I know. I think.
Yeah.
I can't think of anybody cooler.
Well, my favorite thing about Ryan being cool is he doesn't think he's cool, and when he does not cool stuff, like when you sat in the chair backwards and got stuck. Watching you try to get out of an office chair when you tried to sit in it backwards, I about peed my pants.
That was a rough moment.
Was that a were you a youth pastor moment or what? What was happening there?
I think I was making a joke
Yeah,
about
you committed.
what was it?
I think I sat backwards or I did something silly and
Yeah.
I was looking cool and you were trying to one up me.
Yeah. But yeah, I got stuck in an office chair. My legs were through the arms in the wrong way.
Wow.
And
I
yeah,
couldn't function.
Anyway, you're really cool.
You're really cool.
thank you.
You got a fucking cool robot arm
Yeah.
and a Russian tattoo on your neck.
Yeah. Which I still don't know what it means, but I'm never going to ask.
Well,
It's fine.
sign up for Duolingo.
Yeah,
And read it
oh.
yourself.
Touche. Touche.
Did you want to talk about any more of your food pranks?
They're not just food pranks. They were just pranks overall. But no, I think I hit some good ones. They're all silly. We don't have to go through every one of them. There was a lot this year. I just thought that was interesting. The
Yeah.
hot dog flavored water got me though.
It's that they got to get those clicks, man.
Yeah.
Gotta
It's
get those
clever
clicks.
marketing, honestly. I'm not
Is it?
I'm not mad at it.
Is
Any
it?
pranks around the office? You guys have a prankster?
I was out of town.
Yeah,
Oh.
we have one person in our office, Megan, who
Her-
does the production.
Her birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a junior production artist whose
Wow.
birthday is April Fool's,
And she got sick.
and she got sick.
So we thought she pranked us, but no, she's really sick.
She's still sick.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
I
Hope
know.
she gets better.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not-
but I don't think we did anything.
frankly, it's not funny.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Although I'm not sure what's going on in the men's bathroom. I'm going to just let that one
Yeah,
go.
maybe that is.
Is
a
that a
prank.
might
prank?
be it could be.
Do you want to explain what we found in the men's bathroom today?
It's hard to describe. So in the urinal, there's a fibrous substance that it looks like it might be some kind of a slow cooked dark meat, like a pulled pork or,
Or-
something. Or,
I think it's chewing tobacco. I think it is chewing
my
tobacco.
first thought when I looked at it was that somebody had dumped out a can of Skull into the urinal.
Wouldn't you
But-
smell that though? Wouldn't that be more potent?
We
Well,
share. It's important
it's
to
a
mention that we share a bathroom with another office on our floor.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
nobody on our team.
Yeah.
For sure.
But there's been speculation that it wasn't even anyone on the floor because you can get onto our floor if you can get into the building.
Yeah.
So
some-
I don't want to blame the neighbors.
and the public restroom is one urinal, one stall.
yeah.
So
I do know for a fact that someone from a different floor, I'm not going to say from what company or anything, definitely comes to our floor to poop.
Wait, you've seen them?
They've told me.
Oh, okay. Well, then I know who you're. I don't know who you're talking about, but I know
But
what floor.
you know which
yeah.
company we're talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
That tracks. Okay. So they also somebody was eating some sun chips in the bathroom too.
What a bunch of shenanigans.
somebody
Yeah.
left a bag of Sun Chips on the counter,
That's
and then
weird
a
in
day
itself.
later, somebody left something heinous looking, like a dark shredded something in the urinal, like a big pile.
What I don't get is like, do you have any empathy for the people who have to clean?
That's what I
That,
was
like,
thinking. It's
Why
not.
would
Yeah.
you do that? It's so malicious.
I think I agree. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Someone's gonna have to go and clean that
The
out.
two options are: it was somebody who was being malicious, or it was somebody who was in a state of critical emergency and had no other choice but to do what they did, and then ran in shame.
But they could have done it in the toilet and flushed it.
I mean, the toilet's a couple feet further. Maybe maybe the emergency was that critical. Like, I have to do this second. I can't make
And
it 2 more
the
feet.
trash cans, like right there
don't
also.
know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
None
I'm
of
trying
it
to be
makes sense.
generous.
Yeah. I'm gonna try my segue again.
Okay, my bad. You do your
What a crazy shenanigan. Do you guys have any shenanigans that you got into this week? Welcome to Pixelated Shenanigans.
My shenanigans are very like Bob Ross level, like
Ooh.
boring.
Oh.
Like not even shenanigan. I'm like reverse shenanigan.
Why don't you start
Happy
with your
trees?
reverse shenanigan?
I'm getting back into analog art.
Oh, okay.
I bought some canvases and some oil paints, and I'm trying to get back to my roots. I've been painting some. It's literally Bob Ross. I'm just painting landscapes.
Okay.
Wait, can I ask a clarification question? Do
Yeah.
you mean like plein air? What do you mean by analog art?
Yeah, well, like not using
Like
a computer.
physical art.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
not digital
All
art.
Yeah,
right.
like
You're not going outside and
No, I am going out. Like,
Oh,
like
okay.
taking an easel out to the park and.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
it is like
Yeah.
plein air.
Hugo does that a lot with watercolors.
Oh, does he?
I see him around
Dude,
all the time.
I gotta talk to him about that because watercolors to me are my Achilles heel of art.
Really?
They're the hardest medium for me. I love oil. I love acrylic. I cannot make watercolor work for me. It's too runny.
Yeah.
It goes places I don't
It's
want it to go.
very challenging, yeah.
But yeah, I'm getting back to my like old man analog art roots.
Okay.
And the other thing, like, it's a new hobby that I'm branching out into. And it's definitely no coincidence that I'm getting into it right after a breakup
Oh,
because it's it's a very lonely man's hobby. But
You
camping.
guys
Can
heard
we
that,
all
right?
guess? Yeah, he's single.
I'm getting into terrariums.
Oh, I love terrariums.
This feels
Yeah.
really fucking on brand for you.
Yeah.
Oh
I'm-
my
yeah,
god, I
I'm-
love terrariums.
I've ordered a bunch of big jars
You got like
Yeah.
with cork
succulents and
stoppers.
shit.
I've ordered a bunch of pot soil. My apartment's gonna be like.
That's cool.
It's like full ecosystem, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
love
you can
that.
put little mites in there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I'm immediately obsessed. Like one day into that hobby, I'm into it. So yeah, I'm just gonna be nothing but plein air paintings and terrariums in my
I love
apartment
this.
like next week.
that
sounds
actually-
like you.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. Good shenanigans.
Yeah.
Wholesome shenanigans.
Very wholesome.
Yeah.
What about you, Kim? Any shenanigans this
I
past week?
just need to apologize to Ryan. My shenanigans were that Denver and I left you at the bar, and it was my fault, and I didn't mean to do that.
Can we wait?
I didn't.
Can we
mean
back
to.
up and can you tell the story?
Yeah.
When was this?
I went
So-
to the bathroom for 2 seconds. We were all about to leave the bar on Monday.
Wait, which bar? Oh, this is Monday.
Uncle
Monday.
Leo's,
Uncle
yeah.
Leo's.
Yeah. So
Did you go to Live, Laugh, Love bathroom?
I did.
Yeah,
Nice.
twice.
Yeah. Well, we were there for hours, so a bladder can only hold
He's
so
pushing
much.
40, man. Give him a break.
So I went in for my second pee. Could not have been more than 2 minutes. And we were all getting up to leave, and I said out loud to the group, quick pee,
Yeah.
be right back.
Quick pee.
Came back, they were gone.
Wow.
I looked out and they were like a block and a half away. Like,
Wow.
They just peeled out.
Why'd you just leave him?
Well, first of all,
And this was bullets are flying.
oh yeah, I know.
You gonna leave me alone?
That was one of the reasons I
in a
thought
war zone?
this is not. First of all, I should have texted you.
Uncle Leah's is on a particularly gentrified block. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
right?
Well, also
Did you hear about the rifle shooting out front of my apartment?
no. You
No.
gotta tell the story, Ryan.
Okay. Sunday night, Easter Sunday,
Yeah.
there was a shootout between a guy with an AR and two guys with handguns
Holy shit.
directly in front of my front door. Like to the point that like I walked out after the shooting happened to like eavesdrop and find out the details.
Yeah.
And as soon as I came out, the cops were like, "You can't go back inside." Like they taped over my door. Like the whole block was shut down.
That was your
They
fault.
made you
by
go
the way.
back inside, or they said you can't
They,
go
they
back
said
inside?
I can't go back inside.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And they were picking up like 5.56 casing. Like
Oh, my God.
yeah. So that was the climate, and then the next
Yeah.
day, Kim and Denver are just like, make your own way, Ryan.
No, we weren't. We were very much like, it's almost 10 o'clock. You better get home because you're going to turn into a pumpkin and people are going to start shooting you. And again, this is not okay. But in my defense, Ryan is a very Irish goodbye type of person. Like,
I appreciate that very much.
I
about
do
you.
appreciate it. Like, there's
That is
nothing wrong
fair.
with it. But like, I've dropped you off at your house before and then you scurried away like a bunny. And I thought you would like jump down the sewer drain or something because I couldn't find you. So like we had all ordered our last drink and closed out and then sat back down at a table and we were there for probably another 30-45 minutes. And so when it was time to leave,
Also, shout out to Uncle Leo's for being open on a Monday.
gosh,
That's-
also
Great.
I had red beans and rice and like 3 drinks and my bill was like $23. I do not understand it.
Yeah, they're awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I will always go
Shout
there.
out Leroy.
Yeah.
He's the owner. He's
Amazing.
a gem
Please
of a
don't
human.
raise your prices. So
Raise your price.
no, don't do it. I'm poor.
Get that bag.
So we'd all close our tab, and then Denver and I were standing at the bar, and I said, "Did you close out your tab, Denver?" Because we were literally talking about an enemy iteration that he had made a decision about, but wasn't in the GDD, and my notes didn't match it. So I was trying to figure out, like,
Is it in the GDD now?
no,
Fix that.
I'm not supposed to touch the GDD. Also, I don't know what the iteration was. I still
What
didn't
level?
know. Last level. It was basically the enemies. We thought it was
Oh,
going to
just
be
the
one
arena
thing.
stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the arenas.
okay.
We thought it was going to be one thing, and then he decided because we had already did similar enemies in
Oh, word. So it's just like, okay, I got it.
yeah.
I got it.
So it was just like it
that
was
doesn't
like a
necessarily need a GDD.
yeah, it
update.
didn't, but like I didn't have anything to reference it, and so when I was giving Ben, who does our enemies and our bosses, his like Jira ticket, it articulated like each arena's boss fight or whatever was going to be in it, and it didn't match what it had changed. So I was just trying to figure out like, did I miss something? What happened? Where was the miscommunication? And it was just like a last minute decision. That's all it was. But so I was like really distracted, and I was talking to him. We were standing at the bar for 2 minutes, but it did feel like longer, but it was only 2 minutes. And I said to Denver, I said, "Did you close your tab?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I said, "I did too." And we both looked around and we said, "Where's Ryan?" Because that's clearly we did not hear. Anyway,
So I wouldn't have been surprised if I had walked out and it had been like a Twilight Zone scenario where like the whole block was abandoned. I'm like, oh, like the humanity has crashed while I was in there peeing. It was so long. So you're off the hook. You're fine.
I felt bad because, and Denver and I didn't figure it out until Ryan texted us, and we were like, "What?" And I was like, "You left us." And he was like, "I was peeing." And I did. I told Denver, "Yeah, I think he must have left."
Your shenanigans bailing on Ryan.
It was, yeah.
Like every week.
I know. It was an asshole move, and I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
Do
I'll
you
wait.
forgive her?
Yeah.
Do you?
I peed too long.
Don't make it about you.
Yeah, I think we could have waited longer.
You could have.
Yeah.
You guys were like, the amount of distance between the bar and where you were.
Oh, really?
Like I got out there and you were like a speck on the horizon.
This is also not okay. Like it was just like Denver and myself in a space, and I had no like awareness of anything else around me, and it was like 10 o'clock at night, so I should have been
We guys
way
were
more
probably
aware.
arguing about some shit anyway. Like
We
knowing
weren't-
you two.
They were
Den-
full,
on a
full of
Monday.
red
Oh,
beans
yeah.
and rice.
Yeah, especially the Monday before a milestone.
Yeah. No, we were. It was like it was like a very work like constructive conversation, and we were still doing it as we were walking down the street. So it didn't. I don't know. It didn't resonate, but that's still not okay to leave someone behind. Because I would have been upset if you left me behind.
I was fine.
Okay. Chris, what shenanigans have you gotten into?
God, you're so good at segues.
Thank you.
I had a really fun weekend.
Did you?
Yeah, I went to LA.
Hola.
Took the whole fam to LA, my wife, my 2 kids. We ended up staying in Hollywood, which is not typically where I would stay in LA, but
Yeah. There's some good hotels over there, though.
we stayed in an Airbnb,
Oh, okay.
and it was the Airbnb looked really cool. It had like a rooftop pool and all that stuff, so in case we didn't have plans for the kids, they had stuff to do, that kind of thing. And it was really good. It was a great Airbnb. And then we were right on Hollywood Boulevard, like full on,
Nice.
Stars, Walk of Fame, the whole deal. So went out, took the kids out to we just walked around and showed them like Man's Chinese Theater and El Capitan Theater and all the very Hollywoody touristy things.
Yeah.
Because we all lived there, but they had never seen them. My wife had never seen them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
It is a
spent a day
definite
doing
must-do.
Hollywoody stuff. And then that night we went to Christian Spicer's house.
Count it.
It's number one.
He works with us. Does that count if he...
He's a notable person to talk about.
He is
It
a notable
counts.
person. Please download his podcast, DLC. He's also a writer on Raa-boom. And hung out at his house in Pasadena. He's got 2 kids that are the same age as ours. We kind of riffed on the new game, Project Leo. Talked about he's always writing something and has a movie he's working on right now, which is super exciting. And so that was really fun, man. I mean, he's somebody that like energizes me as a person and a creative and one of the things that I think is lacking in Cincinnati is people that are just working on random ass entertainment projects and wish there was more of, and they always make me happy. Did that. And then on Monday we went to Disneyland, took the fam to Disneyland. And I mean, we hit everything. Like it was really good.
That's awesome.
Put in about 22,000 steps and, rocked it till close, which was midnight LA time.
Wow. That's impressive.
I know.
You went hard.
It was great, man. First time the kids had seen Star Wars Land and Marvel Campus. And, they're at that age, man, where it's just so fun. Like, so fun. Had an absolute blast. So it was a really good time. My shenanigans were very family-oriented this weekend.
This is a very good, wholesome podcast.
Wholesome
Really?
shenanigans outside of Kim leaving you.
Oh, yeah.
Did you guys happen to see the homes of either Steve Guttenberg or Kirstie Alley, the 2 romantic leads of the 1995 Olsen twins film It Takes Two?
Oh, my God. Well done.
We did
There
not.
we go.
God,
done.
that was such a good setup. No, I did not. We did not see them that I know of. I mean, maybe we could have.
Next time.
But, yeah.
There's always next time.
Yeah. So there's been some of our pixelated shenanigans. We're running a little long here, but
Yeah.
why don't we end it on some of our recommendations? Ryan, what have you been up to lately in the entertainment world that's been really satisfying for you that you might want to recommend to our audience?
St. Vincent has an album coming out.
Ooh.
Never disappoints. I've seen her on tour every time she's had an album so far, and I can't wait to see this one.
My favorite memory of St. Vincent, I think I've seen her once here in Cincinnati, and like she absolutely shit on the whatever hotel she was staying
Yes,
at.
I remember
Were you
that.
at that show?
I think that was the tour for her self-titled album.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was. I can't disagree.
I found it endearing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she said the name of the hotel, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of on you, bud.
But what's cool is that she's come back twice. So
Yeah.
she shit on it, but she's she's
Always
still coming
big.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, always delivers. Yeah, I think music is the main thing. There's that, and then I've been revisiting some bands that I've kind of moved away from the past couple of years. They've been coming back to me. Vaccines, they're
Okay.
great. British band, love them. I'm gonna make an old recommendation here. 1930s.
Oh, that's
Wow, that is
yeah,
old.
way back.
God, this is so
Just
you.
last week, just rewatched James Cagney gangster film Angels with Dirty Faces. Very good.
Holds up.
Holds up. Yeah.
Really?
Good.
A century later, almost.
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn
yeah.
near. Yeah. He's so little history on Cagney. I love this guy because he was so fucking sincere
Yeah.
as a person. Back then studios made you apply to the studio. Like if you're gonna be an actor, you have to be like in the stable of a studio.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't just like. So you actually had to fill
Pre-SAG, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So you had to apply and give out like your reason for applying and all this stuff. And his form that he filled out is still available. And he was just a poor like Irish immigrant, like legitimate ruffian. Like he became a gangster actor because that's what he actually was.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to be like a tap dance, like, song and dance guy. And he got a few of those roles. Those were always his favorite. But like mostly they were like, this guy can really like beat people up, even though he was really small. But they had him fill out like, what is your reason for applying to this? And like 3 lines of blank form to write your, aspirations or whatever. He just wrote, need work. So
There you go.
that's about the most authentic motive you can have to be a gangster actor. But yeah, Angel with Dirty Faces holds up.
Great reco.
Yeah.
Great reco. Kim, what about you?
Mine is an app that I recently downloaded. I don't know how you're gonna feel about it, but it's called No Thanks, and you can scan the barcodes on basically anything, and it tells you if that particular thing is part of a boycott or not. And I find that very helpful. What do you think, Chris?
I think it's fascinating that exists.
I, as somebody that feels very separated and wishes I could do more, I feel like a boycott is something that is easy for me to do. So I appreciate the fact that someone made an app for it.
I mean, I like that. Like you can, at minimum, you get more information about what you're consuming.
Yeah, it's actually super helpful. So I've only used it. It's like day 3 now, and so
You scanned much mustard at lunch
I did to show
to see
you
if it was
yeah,
boycottable.
if I could, the Frank's mustard.
And there was,
Wait, so what info do you get? Like it's
really great. So
it lets you know
if
what?
if it is something that you should boycott, it tells you the specific ramifications of like, okay, this might be, I don't want to say a company that isn't boycotted because I don't want to like make it sound bad, but it'd be this is part of a cola company and it's and this
like
is
all
why
their
we're doing
groundwater
this.
comes from like a village in South America.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Nestle.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't want to, but we just did it.
I don't care.
Okay.
They're never going to sponsor this.
Okay. Yeah, so that's why it's just it's kind of empowering me more so I don't feel as helpless, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's a free app and it's for Android and Apple users and I think it's great.
Is it like, so you said what you should boycott, which I think is interesting because like I think people have different worldviews and different ideas.
And I agree with that. And that's why I really appreciate it because it's not just telling you boycott. It actually gets in
like why there's a boycott
why there's a
happening.
boycott and what it's for and what it's related to. So like if that's not where you
Yeah.
stand, then
like,
go for it.
If that app's like boycott Bud Light because they're for the gays, I'm like,
yeah.
fuck that.
Oh
Yeah.
no. That's
Yeah.
not at all what this is.
But that was a boycott that happened. Would it
That
have been
is.
in the app?
Well,
We got to get a Bud Light. Find out.
I think the reason this app exists is more of like Palestine and things like that. To be
Okay.
honest with you, it's not, and so anybody can submit a boycott, but like you could say, oh no, you should boycott this, and then they kind of take it and they do their research, and it's clear that they do the research because when you get the facts on why you should boycott it, it's very well done. Like I don't know who did this app, but I'm very impressed with it.
No thanks.
Have you
No
seen one
thanks.
that you disagree with?
I've only seen one so far, so
Oh.
and no.
And it was the mustard?
It wasn't the mustard.
scan
Frank's
that?
mustard is good.
Can you scan High Noon for
No,
me?
because I like High Noon. I'm afraid. Should I get it?
See, that's like information.
No, I was
scary,
just
right?
kidding.
Okay.
If I guarantee you, if I do any like
it do
General
people?
Mills cereal, it would come people. Yeah,
Does it let you know if like I'm canceled? Like,
Yeah.
if you scan me?
I think that would be great. Hold on, my phone's on airplane mode because I didn't want to get any notifications. Okay. I don't know how well this is gonna work on a podcast, but give me your drink, dude.
Well, just tell us.
Okay. Hold on.
She's scanning. I'll give the play-by-play. She's scanning the barcode of the High Noon vodka seltzer, lemon flavor, which I've never had before, and it
Oh my god, all my
was
texts are
tart
coming now.
and surprising when
Okay.
I first tried it, but I'm enjoying it.
Okay, so it's coming up,
Okay, so
and it takes a minute, obviously, because it's
doing
its
some
work.
yeah, it's thinking.
Yeah,
The computer's thinking.
it's processing your information.
Yeah.
Oh, I get scared when it turns red. It's just thinking.
Okay, I'm seeing
Oh,
green.
it's green. This product is good for now.
Does
yeah.
it say good for now?
It does actually, which I'm not.
That's,
I'm
like,
not
kinda
afraid.
dystopian,
I
or-
don't actually. I'm not a fan of that.
The whole
verbiage.
thing's dystopian.
But
as
I'm
hell
gonna be
to me.
honest. I like what they're doing, so I'm not. I
Yeah.
mean, and as people have
I
made
think
an
the
app
intent
before,
is
and
great.
apps are not easy to
Yeah,
make.
it's a good like piece of the data collection process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be my like one stop.
Right.
It's
Oh
nice.
no! I think it. I use it more as a guideline.
Yeah, totally.
Because it's more just
Have
providing
you-
me information.
Have you scanned something that had a boycott and then consumed it anyway? Yet?
No, but to be fair, I have been scanning a lot of stuff around my house, so technically I've already consumed those. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's more
too
of a
late.
You're a
don't
bad
repurchase.
person.
Yeah, I'm a bad.
Retroactively.
Yeah,
Yeah.
knowledge is power, Chris.
Does it have like a slider of like heaven to hell, like where you are?
Oh yeah. It's like it's all burning.
Yeah,
like,
I want more guilt. Can I
Yeah.
please have... Is there an app that gives me more guilt? I found one.
You use Pert Plus shampoo?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't-
Great.
One step closer to damnation.
Anyway.
Great recommendation, Kim.
Thanks, Chris. What's your great?
It's a good
recommendation?
conversation starter. I like
Yeah, I
it.
suppose.
I feel very judged right now.
Nah. I have a great recommendation, man. I played it the entire time on both of my 5-hour flights to
Aw.
Teamfight Tactics. Man, I love this game so much, and I haven't talked about it on this podcast, so it was a great excuse to talk about Teamfight Tactics. It is an auto battler, so it's a round-based PvP game where you draft a team that battles automatically on your behalf. TFT borrows from many of the concepts you know and love about other strategy games, like drafting from a shared pool of resources, team building, economy management, and positioning. Individuals face off in one-on-one matches until one player remains. You win by drafting the best team of champions from a shared pool, equipping them with powerful items, managing your gold income to buy out the competition, and positioning your team in winning battle formations. And it uses League of Legends characters, is free to play on mobile and PC, and the current season's really fun. Shout out to Delta for having Wi-Fi that was good enough that I was able to play this on my iPad the entire flight, which I felt was huge. I got first place a couple of times. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
I was just doing placement though, so in ranked, but I took the risk of playing ranked on airplane Wi-Fi, and that could have gone south very easily.
Yeah.
But
But
Delta
in that
hooked me
case,
up.
is it just you versus the other passengers on your flight?
Oh man, I wish.
That would have been
I'd
funny.
murder them.
yeah.
Yeah.
gonna
No, you're just
say, I feel
playing.
like
You're
that's
just
pretty
playing
safe
the
bet.
game. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be cool though. Like if it flagged like which seat number.
There is.
Oh, it's like my favorite.
Kim does this.
I
on
do
planes.
do it.
Can you explain what you do?
So I think this is Delta specific. I'm going to be honest. But if you're lucky enough to get on one of the flights where they have like the television screen and the seat
Yeah.
in front of you, there is a section for video games, and there's like a subsection where you can play like trivia and stuff against people on the airplane.
On the plane.
Okay, I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And I am the loudest asshole. Like this is why Chris doesn't like flying with me, because like I am not quiet about it. Like people know that I'm in my seat playing the trivia game.
Yeah.
Dude,
And do
you
you turn
do
around?
not travel well.
Do you turn it like over your shoulder and like yell like smack talk at the,
No,
at the other?
I should though. I think Chris would probably boot me off the plane if I'm.
Oh, you didn't know osmosis?
You didn't know?
You idiot.
You dumb bitch.
Stupid
Kim,
8-year-old.
calm down.
And you can't shut your baby up?
Chris, I travel great. You just don't like traveling with me.
You make so much noise.
I know. Just don't talk to me then. It's fine. The people put
You
in
get
earbuds.
cookies on the plane?
Oh yeah.
That's my impression of Kim on a flight.
On my last Delta flight, I got the last sun chips, and it was like a to do. Like I was like bartering
from the
with
cart?
people. Yeah, I got the last.
That's a
sun.
big
It
deal.
was a big deal. I was like bartering with people. Yeah, I'm fine. It's
Oh my
fine. You
God,
gotta-
dude.
Did they have like a special version of the little like flight wings to
We know they have those trading cards. I've just been too
Yeah.
afraid to ask, like to go and ask the pilot for their trading cards. Do
You
know what
haven't
I'm
done
talking
that
about?
yet? Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I haven't done it yet.
never
either. I
never
want
be
to.
afraid to go bang on the pilot's private door?
Yeah, that's
it's
pretty
Really?
normal.
Oh,
it's accepted.
okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Anyway,
Anyway.
Teamfight Tactics. It's such a fun. I love auto chess in general, and it was implemented really well. We like made an attempt at an auto chess prototype.
How'd that go?
Not great.
Yeah.
That was not good.
But you tried.
We tried. It could have been
It
good.
could be something to come back to at some point.
Yeah, I don't. It's not. Those games aren't fun. The type of games I like to make are not that.
Yeah.
And it felt too generic for us, just for us, and as a studio.
So I think it gets into like the big worlds like pillar of the
Right,
studio
right.
ethos.
Yeah. I like to start with characters, and I like to start with specific motivations of individuals, and like that. Auto chess is kind of hard to begin at that place, I feel like. But TFT is really, really good and really, really fun, and I highly recommend it. With that, let's wrap this bad boy up. Ryan, where can people follow you, and is there anything in particular you'd like to plug, promote, etc.?
At the moment, I don't have much else going on. I've got some stuff kind of like early on in the works, working with a couple of friends on actually a screenplay for a horror short that we're
Yeah.
trying to get submitted to festivals early next year.
Right on.
So that might be
If you
happening.
need a cabin, let me know.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'll connect with you.
Yeah, for sure.
Other than that, there's nothing I'm really trying to promote. I got Instagram. It's me, Ryan. Instagram.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's me, Ryan.
It's me, Ryan.
Any
Ryan.
dating profiles?
Not yet.
No? Okay.
Too sad.
Yeah.
Aw.
I'm not dating yet.
You're kind of a sad boy in general, though. I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's very fair.
Yeah.
It's a big part of my brand.
Well, we love you, and we're happy
I
you're here,
appreciate
man.
that. Thank you. I'm
Yeah.
glad to be accepted as a sad boy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we collect them like Pokemon. Although Drew's really a happy guy.
Yeah, he
You
is,
tend to be a
yeah.
happy guy, Drew.
I'd say so.
Yeah. Kim, anything you'd like to plug, and where can people find you on socials?
Please don't follow me on socials, and I have nothing to plug.
You can follow me at Bergs Makes Games, Bergs Makes Games on Insta, or on Twitter if you're still using it at Chris Bergman. And most importantly, you can follow Gylee Games everywhere on socials at Gylee Games. Please follow TikTok. We got YouTube. Obviously, that might be where you're watching this. Insta, Twitter, Blue Sky,
Facebook.
Facebook, LinkedIn. Is that all of them? I think we got them
Probably.
all. Right.
Think
Follow at Gylee Games there. And most importantly, please wishlist Raa-boom on Steam. Tell all your friends to wishlist it. Tell all your family to wishlist it. Say my wonderful friends in Cincinnati, Ohio at Gylee Games are making this game. Please wishlist it because it helps them in so many ways. It doesn't cost you anything other than time and energy and clicking a button. And of course, smash that like and subscribe button. And with that, that's another episode of Gylee and Friends.
Yay!
We'll see you next week.